Arcane is amazing, from the cinematography to the animation to the writing. When I first heard Riot was making a feature-length animated film, I didn't have high hopes. I knew their animation team was superb, but I had no idea how they would handle a feature-length show. However, all my worries were put to the side when the show aired. Not only is the animation stunningly beautiful thanks to no small feat by Fortiche Studio, but the writing and characterization is in a league of its own. You can feel the passion that the creators Alex and Christian poured into the show. Each scene is carefully crafted to add to the narrative, and you never doubt why characters say or act the way they do. The story of Arcane revolves around two sisters, Vi and Jinx, and how their lives are shaped by the political tensions between the rich city of Piltover and the seedy underbelly of Zaun. The initial opening scenes of Arcane immediately establishes Vi as the leader of their misfit group. She is the strong, reliable sister that the others look up to, ever since the passing of Vi and Powder's parents. Vi has been Powder's guardian and role model. You can see that Vi is a spunky, courageous fighter that would do anything for her family. The love that Vi has for her sister is palpable off-screen, and this unconditional love sets the basis for their relationship. Jinx is by far the most interesting character in the show. I mean, she turned from this to this. Jinx's real name is Powder, and starts off as an innocent, scared youth who is trying to prove herself to her older siblings. She, like Vi, has good intentions for her family, but always ends up ruining the plan, and thus gets her signature nickname.
Every time she comes, something goes wrong. She jinxes every job.
The beauty of this character is that we understand her character progression based on the trauma she experienced in her youth. The repeated failures and self-doubt, coupled with the guilt of killing her family, eats away at her humanity, causing her to go mad. What makes these two sisters' relationship so strenuous is tragedy. It is evident that both sisters deeply love each other, but unfortunate circumstances cause their relationship to fracture. Take this scene for instance. Here, Powder's eavesdropping on Vi and Milo's conversation, in which Milo is belittling her, and she overhears Vi say that Powder is not able to do a lot of things the others can, but leaves before she hears Vi defending her. This is a tragic case of sisters misunderstanding one another, and sows the seeds for their future relationship. The end of Act 1 is what cements the rift between the sisters. The capture of Vander is an emotional sequence of betrayal, violence, and tragedy. As the events unfold, it seems as though the gang will pull through. However, just as things are looking up, Powder arrives, and though has good intentions of rescuing everyone, ends up doing something so much more. As Vi is grieving over the loss of her family, Powder comes in, and the realization for both of them is heartbreaking.
I only wanted to help. I only wanted to help. I only wanted to help.
Vi, fueled by the emotions of what she witnessed, just having lost her family and now knowing the reason was due to Powder's actions, and Powder thinking she saved the gang, only to realize she did the complete opposite. The emotions of the two sisters are so raw and visceral that as a viewer, you can only sympathize with both of them. These heightened emotions cause Vi to lash out on Powder and leave her to settle her emotions. However, as this is happening, another tragedy strikes as Silco appears at Powder's most vulnerable time. Vi goes to defend her sister, but just as a resolution is about to happen, Marcus comes and snubs that opportunity. Man, you can just see how these characters' outcomes would have changed if these unfortunate circumstances did not happen. If Powder just listened to Vi and stayed home, the gang would potentially be free. If Vi didn't leave Powder, they could have worked things out and persevered as sisters. These events, as tragic as they are the foundation of their characters moving forward. As the two sisters develop into adults, we see how their childhood, coupled with their new environments, has changed them. Powder, having the rage, guilt, and sadness of killing her friends, along with her sister seemingly abandoning her, has transformed into this violent monster of the Undercity. Vi, who has spent those years in prison, is oblivious to this fact and holds on to the belief that her sister is the same Powder as before they separated. We see this drastic change in Powder firsthand and are unsure where the relationship is heading. Throughout this act, we can see Jinx battling with her identity. She still holds her sister and friends dear, as evident by her hallucinations, but because of her deep-rooted trauma, she cannot accept that her sister is back, and for her, unconditionally.
Wherever you are, light it up, and I'll find you.
When Jinx lights up the flare, we know that she still longs for her sister, and believes she will come for her. As the two sisters reunite, we see a glimpse of a potential reconciliation. However, due to Vi journeying with Caitlyn, and Jinx being raised by Silco, there's always a tension in the relationship. Jinx, being afflicted with a poor mental state, sees Caitlyn as his antagonist using it as a crux against her relationship with Vi. She gets jealous and is fearful of abandonment, which is rooted in a traumatic past. This view is thoroughly ingrained in her mind and is the barrier currently holding her back from reconciling with Vi. The dinner scene of the last episode is pivotal in establishing the dynamics of the characters. Here, we truly see the inner battle that Jinx is facing with herself. She has both Vi and Silco on opposite sides of the table and is desperately trying to find where she belongs. Does she go to the man who raised her during her lowest moments, or does she go to her sister that came back to her after all these years? Life is not so black and white, and Jinx is battling with the two sides that encompass her as a person. Ultimately, the climax leads to this.
No, I'm sorry.
I never would have given you to them. Not for anything. Don't cry. You're perfect.
We truly see that the relationship between Jinx and Silco was that of a genuine father-daughter relationship, that they loved and cared for one another. This heartbreak causes Jinx to realize that she has changed, and as much as Vi wants the old Powder to come back, she is gone. The future of the two sisters is shrouded in mystery. It seems that both still have love for one another. However, their years apart has caused them to take different paths in life. This unique dynamic leaves you wondering,
Are we still sisters?